talk about state tax credits, you're talking about a lot of money.
It's billions. It's literally billions of dollars.
That's the taxpayers' money that we're dealing with.
Money that isn't going to Oklahoma roads or schools. Instead, it's going to tax breaks for businesses. The idea?
Assist Oklahoma in creating economic development and creating jobs.
There are dozens of state tax credits. Some are awarded for expansion, job creation, or investments, all with the idea that it has a positive financial impact on the state of Oklahoma. But the 2 News investigators uncovered tens of millions of dollars of those state tax credits up for sale.
There was almost a market out there for selling tax credits.
It's happening, and in some cases, it is legal in Oklahoma. 9 of the dozens of state tax credits available can be sold.
It is so blatant that when you start explaining this to people, they say, well, that couldn't be happening. This is something that couldn't go on. The state of Oklahoma could not be involved in something like this, but we are.
That leads us to businesses like Phoenix Coal Sales, a surface mine out of Anita.
It's a tough way to make a living.
When times got tough, the company applied for and was granted state tax credits. The credits were supposed to go to pay for the company's taxes.
If they're not transferable to where I can sell them and turn it into cash that I can go buy a load of fuel or go buy a tire with, they're not of value to me.
But the company didn't owe any state taxes. Instead, they needed money for things like employees' salaries and equipment, things the credit couldn't have been used for. So, owner Jim Brakefield says he sold the credit to another company. Brakefield wouldn't tell us who he sold it to or how much the credits were for, but he did tell us he sold the credits for less than they're worth, at about 80 cents on the dollar. That's a 20% loss on your tax dollars.
In some cases, even less than that. We've heard of tax credits that are sold for 50 cents on the dollar. In some cases, they should be outraged. I think everybody ought to be concerned about it.
But we don't even know how widespread this is, because the companies that buy up the tax credits aren't required to disclose it. Lawmakers told us this was common practice for insurance companies. So the 2 News investigators pored over data. We found insurance companies are not eligible to apply for certain tax credits, like the ones given to the coal company. So they have to buy them. The 2 News investigators found the insurance companies that spent the most money over the past 3 years buying up tax credits in Oklahoma was Blue Cross Blue Shield. They spent nearly $5 million. Blue Cross Blue Shield wouldn't talk to us on camera, but did send us this statement saying, in part, purchasing these credits helps reduce our overall expenses, allowing us to better control healthcare premiums paid by our customers. We also found Progressive Northern Insurance spent $3.1 million over the past 3 years buying state tax credits. They sent the 2 News investigators a similar statement saying, quote, Progressive purchased tax credits available under state law to reduce its overall expenses. Taxes are a part of the cost of doing business, and by reducing our cost of doing business, we can pass the savings on to the customers. In all, the 2 News investigators found insurance companies spent almost $19 million over the past 3 years buying up your tax dollars at a discount. Again, it is legal to buy and sell the credits in Oklahoma, but the concern for lawmakers is that it's money the state will never receive in taxes, money that is lost revenue.
We just shouldn't have transferable tax credits.
State Representative Earl Sears has been trying to stop the sale of tax credits in Oklahoma. Our state is among at least 38 states that have some type of transferable tax credit. Sears thinks Oklahoma, though, needs to provide more oversight for how tax credits are used here.
We have nothing in place to review these tax credits.
It's something the 2 News investigators uncovered this past August. There's no way for the public to see how companies spend their tax credits, even those that the state specifically granted.
There's nothing to follow through to find out if they did do what they said they're going to do, or in many cases, what they intend to do with it to begin with.
What State Auditor Gary Jones does know is that it's taxpayer money, and he's determined to find out how it's being spent. He's using a Supreme Court decision to give him the authority to review tax credits, and he's already asking questions. So are the 2 News investigators.
We need to know if we're extending dollars, tax dollars. Those are dollars that citizens have to pay to make up the difference.
Representative Sears says he plans to file legislation that would require tax credit recipients to explain how they use the credit. Plus, he hopes to stop the sale of tax credits in the future. The 2 News investigators will continue to follow this story. Marla Carter, 2 News works for you.